Hi everyone, today I'm going to teach you how to use our Combi flash instrument. So the Combi flash works very similar to TLC, which I'm sure you're all familiar with. The silica gel is our stationary phase and our solvents are the mobile phase. So the solvents pass through our sample and through the silica gel, and the non-polar compounds in our sample will come off first because they won't interact with the polar silica gel, and will be separated into these tubes, and then the more polar compounds will come off last in later tubes. To turn on the Combi, simply flip the switch and it will turn itself on. So first, you want to pick out your column. Each column has a label on it, and it will tell you what size sample it can take. This one is 200 milligrams to 4 grams. I am combiing 2 grams of sample, so I would want to use this 40-gram column. So you take off the 2 red pieces, lift up this little black bar. Don't touch this. This is not the handle. This is the handle. Take out this little piece here, place it on top, and you put the column, the bottom part of the column here, top goes here, and then rotate it so that way the label faces this corner, so that way it can be read by the machine. Next, you're going to want to put on your cartridge. So first, you're going to take this collar and line up these little wings with the little wings on your cartridge, and then turn it to lock it in place. You'll hear it click. Next, you want to push in this button here and gently lower this down to your sample. This button should still be pushed in. Then gently lift until you hear a pop and this button comes back out. Then you know that your cartridge is all set. And then you very gently place it on top of this and you twist. Make sure you hold on to this nut while you twist it, so that way you don't twist the sensitive wires here. As you're turning, you'll reach a point where the Combi starts to resist you and it doesn't want to turn. Stop turning it. You don't want to break the Combi. So see how it's standing all by itself without me holding it? This is when you want to stop. Don't turn it anymore. It's perfect. Now that our column and cartridge are all set, we hit login to the common user. You go to File to select a method, Open, and this will have all of your methods. And here we'll be doing the 40-gram VBT separation. This blue line shows the solvent levels for B, which in this case will be ethyl acetate. It's the stronger of your solvents. So it'll start off at 20% ethyl acetate, then it will bump up to 40%, and then it'll go all the way up to 100 to get off the last of our sample. And then we put in our sample name, which in this case we'll put the date. Then you hit enter. Next, you want to check your solvents and make sure that you have enough. You can check the solvent levels on these bottles. And you want to check to make sure that both racks are filled with tubes. You don't want to run into a situation where you run out of tubes and then your solvent and sample are just everywhere in the hood. It's a mess. Don't let it happen. So now that we've named our sample, we make sure we have the right method loaded. We make sure that it's set for the 40-gram silica because that's the column that we're using. We have all of our tubes, enough solvent. We can hit play. And sample loading technique, we want to use solid because we have a solid sample. Then you hit OK, and the Combi will begin running. It's a good idea to come in and check on your Combi periodically. You can see on the top about how long the Combi has left in its run, but you should check back before then just to make sure nothing goes wrong. The computer will alert you if anything goes wrong, but you want to be around if something happens. So if at any point, for whatever reason, you want to pause your run, press this stop button. And if you want to end your run early, press the fast forward button. When your run is complete, the Combi will run an air purge to get all of the solvent out of your column and your cartridge. When the air purge is all done, you can then insert a USB port and then press the little PDF button. If there's an error, try one more time, and then it will tell you that it was saved successfully. And then you can remove your flash drive and it will have your Spectra on there. Then you want to take out your test tubes. It's important to remember when you take them out that the Combi arm goes in an S formation. So the tubes are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and so on in this S motion. So that way you don't get the tube numbers mixed up. You then put your tubes into one of these racks to be transported into another room. So that way you can run a TLC of all of your different fractions. After you've taken out your fractions and replaced the rack with new test tubes, you can then start disassembling the Combi. You can start by taking out your column and replacing it with the black piece that you had in originally. You then take off your cartridge, remembering to hold the bolt as you spin this. If you notice that there's a little bit of liquid in the top, you should move this underneath the waste so that way you don't get the solvents all over you. Make sure you hold this still so we don't bend the wire. And the solvent will come off on the side. And then twist it in the opposite direction so that way the wings line up again. And you pull it off. You can then push this out a little bit so that way it balances on here better. Reclose your waste. And then these both go in their proper waste containers, which are located next to the Combi. The cartridges go in the little bin that says dirty cartridges only. And the columns go in this little red hazardous waste container. To clear your run when you're all done, if you want to use the same method, just hit this rewind button and it will bring you back to the beginning. And if you want to use a new method, you can then go File, Open your new method. If you're all done with your Combi, you can then just hit the off switch and the Combi will shut itself down. There's no special shutdown sequence. Just make sure you do not remove the power for 1 minute. And that's how you use the Combi.